wish I didn't care. I wish I didn't fucking care. So what's the normal? What's the normal amount of time people wait in between making like major decisions, especially regarding a loved one, a significant other? I hate limbo. I hate guesswork. I go out of my way. I'm more forgiving than people deserve. I'm more understanding than people will ever share with me. And I find it hard to know the right fucking thing to do. If someone comes to you and they have a romantic interest for you, and you know better, like you've known this person before, um, and it happens, what you should expect, old patterns. But you're prepared because you knew this person before. They had patterns. You knew they were broken. So they come around again. They repeat the patterns. They repeat the breakage. So it doesn't hurt you. But this person professes all these things. They their goals or ideas are real, right? How understanding is understanding? How patient should patience be? I'm asking, I'm wanting nothing. No reward. But it does burden to worry about person. If person is back on drugs, which they relapsed. If person is homeless and out in the cold, stuck. It is a worry, an unquenched thought train to hope that people I care about are okay. And the absolute only thing I really want right now is to know that this person is safe. Um, I know they're moody. I know they're probably even more moody now with drugs. But it's such a burden. That's the best word I can use. To worry every day about someone I can't help. To hope that someone's taken care of someone that I can't take care of. To hear words like, I need you. And people disappear off the map. And perhaps the person is ashamed going back to the drugs or afraid that I will be angry in some way. But not knowing is so much more murdersome. Seeing people get on maybe long enough to share some negative posts drives me fucking crazy. Some negative, sad thing. My heart is a hard thing to turn off. I care so much about everybody. And I really fucking wish that I didn't. I wish it was just easy to not care about anybody but myself. And instead of putting my thoughts out on the line, put my time into people and things. And I wonder, because I'm different, how much time is normal before people shield themselves or stop bothering? You know? Or someone says, please don't go to bed, I know you're exhausted. But I really need you there for me normally until you take care of yourself, but don't do that. And then they disappear, just actually vanish. And similar stuff. Or, I mean, what would I be rewarded with anyway? So, like, I feel like I'm making myself available for people often in life. And more than this person. That will not make themselves available for themselves. I'm wanting desires and goals and health and success for individuals that often do not really want those things for themselves. And it's hard to build the attitude of just not caring. Like seeing somebody as beneath you or scum or anything like that. That's like next to impossible. To think that when people say their desires, they dream big and they have these really great ideas and goals that they'd like to have that are different from everything that they've ever done. I'd like to believe in that with them. You know, I'd like to believe that they believe that they want to get to these places and not suffer and be happy and whatever it is that the dream is being portrayed out. But it's very rarely the case. Instead, it's more like I'm alone right now, or I'm unhappy right now, or I have very few friends right now, or whatever, depending on the person. And they fill this void with all kinds of other people that are more focused than they are. Um, and then windful scenarios come along and distract the current from following those goals for themselves. And I've seen so many of my friends struggle. I've seen people with many different types of addictions in life. Um, People with pill addictions, people with drug addictions, people with sex addictions, people with issues and escape routes. You know, coping mechanisms that aren't exactly healthy to go and solve that void. You know, the inability to face the current reflection of reality and instead filling it with a bunch of data. You know, like I said, for some it's sex, for some it's drugs, for some it's games. You know, but I hate when I invest so much into people and I've watched them grow. And I'm sure somebody can relate to this. I've watched them grow. They've struggled so many challenges and such, and move along, if only by increments, towards no longer having to suffer and struggle in the same way. And so I get like proud isn't the right word because I didn't teach them anything or earn anything to feel proud for them. Um, but happy, I guess, for them is the word. I get with them. Yeah, you're right along with you. And then I get to worry a lot of times twice as hard because it turns out I believed in those good ideas more than they did. I feel kind of sad today. I don't even know if that's the right word, but sad. I'm disappointed. I was told so many things that didn't happen. Tried really hard not to believe them, but they would be great things. Um, I try to understand the circumstances, even the more things that I don't know. What I do know, there's a lot to consider, and what I don't know, there's even more. So I'm trying to consider that in regards to the person's absence. I'm trying to consider the mental health and stuff issues of it, every aspect. But it's so worrisome to think that this person could be dead somewhere. This person could be overdosed somewhere. This person could be raped and harmed somewhere in a bad scenario. And people, I choose to have very few people in my life because, one, people aren't typically as friendly, or considerate or any of those things if you're trying to build something with someone. Um, but two, because to make too many personal connections to people and watching them hurt themselves and hurting people around them and struggle and practically without God pray for something better, a way out. So I put myself out on the line, and I've done this for a few people in my life, where literally I don't want anything returned. I'm not asking you for shit. I'm not expecting anything. If things are cool, cool. If they're not, whatever. Here's what I have to offer. It may or may not be much. May you use it to your benefit and build something to fruition. Um, but people wonder why I don't keep a whole lot of people around, and a lot of it is empathy. It hurts me to see people hurt. It's really worrisome to watch people damage their families and their friendships and seek a. I want to say stuff without saying stuff so that I'm not actually talking against any one group or person or certain people, and can still kind of express my thought on what's burdening me without seeming like I'm going against somebody. It hurts to watch others suffer, knowing that even if, with or without your interference, with or without your words of kindness or your support, knowing that they will likely circle back and do it again. Especially if you've had years of life experiences to know it's almost a guarantee to watch people struggle again. We drive ourselves crazy, humans, thinking about stuff we can't change, circumstances beyond your control. It's definitely true for me. I hate worrying, and there's a couple people in my life that I've debated chopping off because all I get to do is worry about what next reckless decision someone's going to make. You know, where they're going to sleep, what they're going to do next, who they're hanging out with, and in a lot of cases, I know those are going to be bad things. And there's no telling people what to do, even if I was that kind of guy, which I try not to take away people's free choice. Um, so I can't even, I wouldn't even be able to be like, hey, you, don't be you. Don't ever grow. Don't make your own decisions. But I'm so tired of worrying. I don't want to do it anymore. And the only other thing I know to do, because I've continued to extend my home and my time and my wallet and everything else that I can to this person and others like them, the only thing I know to do that isn't going to seem like a contradiction of my character is to just poof off a line, go back and do my thing, build my life, continue working, and then come back and periodically check in instead of continually exposing myself to a reminder um, of these behaviors, of these repetitious behaviors of bad cycles and emotional gratification. I just wish that I could and not be a bad guy to leave people on the bottom where they're at instead of really understanding everything. Understand exactly where you're at. I chose to still extend, still accept, still love, still care anyway, knowing the cards I'm dealing with. I just wish you didn't have to fucking suffer, and I wish I didn't have to be in the middle of some shit that I can't control while it's not gonna be over, if at all, for some time. And I'm getting better about having people in my life that kind of have goals and such like that, but it's so hard to willingly, deliberately look the other way when like if someone screamed at you, say, um, but you knew exactly where they're coming from, what happened, what their past scars are, yada yada, to know what built up that scream, what past events affected the emotional versus logical decision making skills in that moment. If you understood where they're coming from, emotional versus intellectual, and how they make their decisions, whether they're introverts, whether they're extroverts, when you think and you look into so much detail, and you can see exactly why and how a person is doing something, you can't be angry with it. And you can't exactly, very easily for me anyway, just peruse over it and say, "Oh, I see you're here again, struggling." Seems to be the addiction for us. Um, and then just go have a better time than they'll ever have. Go smile, go eat cake, go jam to some tunes. Um, and you don't want to be the kind of person that encourages that person to hurt themselves or hurt and manipulate you either by being too passive and being too soft. So I end up somewhere in the middle where I'm tuning in and tuning out on occasion to see if the broadcast has changed. Last time on FM 99, this is what the song roster looked like. This time, and hoping for a better outcome for people because I'll drive myself fucking crazy. Joining them in the circle of shit that I'm not even choosing, I just really wish you were fucking okay. I care about you so fucking much. It'd be so much easier if I didn't care. Instead, you actually having me going back and thinking, I hope that you're okay. Out of all the things that one could have done to hurt my feelings, out of all the would-be lies told, out of everything that I'm a different man than 10 years ago, and how I handle things. And everything I could be upset about, and every way that I could judge a person like this. Instead, I actually wish that you were happy and safe and finding peace. And the biggest pain weighs on my heart and my stomach that you're not. And that when I hear from you again, that you'll tell me. And I'll have to be calm and understanding again to know that you spiraled backward. And then understanding that you might again. And while I wait for you to join us, so to speak, to not find answers and joy in the same places so that you don't always go backwards to visit them again, but instead can move forwards and have it all. This video might not even make much sense, but it's my way of detoxing it off so that I don't have to focus on it for a little while. I care so fucking much about people. I can't save the world. I can't ask the world to save themselves. If that's what they wanted, they would do those things. But I damn sure can worry about the world. I damn sure can hear the voices echo out, saying, please be there for me. Poof. I'm going through a hard time. I just did this drug again and I've been trying so hard to avoid it. And I'm doing so good. And then poof, I get to worry. And I don't even think that I deserve that. I think that I'm worthy of great things. But I don't know how to fucking just automatically tell every person who hasn't figured out how to be happy yet. Just go get the fuck out of here. Instead, I get to worry right along with you. And I should. But I do. I've got nothing else to say. My heart fucking goes to you, you silly fucking human. I hope you're safe. I hope that you're learning one day at a time. Remember the white shit, man. Change isn't instantaneous. You're working so hard to beat so many fucking challenges and problems and repeats. And you're a smart person. You do silly things. Addiction's a silly thing. It's not who you are. And I hope you find your way through this shit. You got a massive body of people thinking about you, worried about you all the time, waiting for you to to kick these habits, waiting for you to make a different decision, waiting for you to have something you want bad enough to fight for and change the circumstances and go get that shit. And then it's happy more or less ever after. In a situation you can't control, in a situation where you have some power and some say. I have no choice but to believe that you're going to make it through this. And just scoping from time to time instead of driving myself fucking crazy, looking to see you in pain when I kind of already know you're in pain. I'm already seeing the habits and the choices repeat. I love all of you dudes. If this planet could half understand fucking love, sacrifices don't last forever. But people should think about that too. Those who understood that you were imperfect or broken or a drug addict or whatever the problem a person could have, and still choosing to deal with you and want you well and fight for the greater cause and build and shit with you, you know? Especially when I don't have any fucking cause of my own. I just want to see people fucking smile. That's what I mean. You know, I don't have any thing that I demand or would like necessarily to come back out of that. I just want to see people stop suffering. People get a mixed idea. So if anybody even paid attention to this, it's just for my detox break. For those of you who are actually listening, tuned in, and I'm going to speak a little real. People get mixed ideas on me. I portray many characters. Good guy, a demon, to approach different kind of minds and perspectives, you know, which are important. You know, sometimes you need that strength, you need that understanding that you're special. You need a little ego, not to just completely dissolve ego. Other times the opposite is also needed. You need love, you need appreciation, you need to remember what matters, or you'll never make it through. You see, I'm already lightening myself up, but if I choose to focus on death and doom and despair, then it's going to be like this, isn't it? So people get mixed signals. Those who know me from the internet instead of real life might see contradictions of messages or think that I'm this aggressive fuck. I'm not really. I just do things with purpose, and not a whole lot of people do stuff with purpose. They do stuff with patterns. You know, they do familiar, memorized stuff. This is how I've always been, so I'm going to do that again, even if it sucks. Or rules. But what I try to do, the majority of my stuff, is raise people up to believe in themselves, to love themselves, to know I can, so can you. To focus on their talents, not their lack of talent, to focus on what we all have in common, not what we have different that separates us, etc. I try to create a very positive environment, depending which angle we're talking from. So, over on School for Evil, it's going to be much darker theme. On Church of Heaven, it's going to be practically angelic themed, positive. How you can have happiness today, and here's how. You know, and on this channel, people get to see somewhere in the middle. I try to show a broken, normal human being, one capable of emotion, regardless of him having the abilities to be able to tune in or tune out, or elevate himself, or depress himself. I try to show a little more of the relatable person. I don't want people to worship me, turn me into this or that, which can predictably happen. The more doctrine I release, the more followers I get, the more specific my codex and the way that I speak. And so I try to approach literally every facet that I can at the same time. So today I was overwhelmed, worrying about loved ones. And by the time I turn off this video, maybe 15 minutes after the fact, as I focus on what matters, gear myself towards and align myself with whatever those goals are, I thought I'd share that yes, a God can be broken, or a human can experience these emotions and still have so many different answers and mechanisms on how to go about them and what to do next. one of the things that we do as humans that's a little silly, um, or that we don't do enough, and it's silly for that reason, is detox. A diary, especially men, are taught not to have a diary, um, or to call it a journal instead, as if it makes an absolute piss of difference. And when you see pain, is just as bad as joy to repress. People talk of the shadowy self, the true self, and shoving themselves down because of what's accepted in society. Well, pain, especially for guys, also done like that. Guys are taught to be this invulnerable thing, or not to cry or ever show emotion, yada yada yada. Um, and even if they do, they still have a lot that they don't say. Now that doesn't mean necessarily you'll get yourself in trouble and hang around friends and then unload your every problem and emotion. But it does mean that it's important that you get that emotion out, because if you don't get that emotion out, whether you're writing it in a diary or a journal, whether you're talking to a Catholic priest with their confessions or just a buddy, those emotions, if you don't bring them to the surface, look at them, analyze them, put them in a category, move them out of the way, will come up unchecked. And that means that you will make more emotional based decisions. You probably won't even be aware that you're making them, all guided by that unresolved emotion on pick a topic. What this video should have shown is my allowing myself to be broken, allowing myself to worry, allowing heartache and empathy and anxiety, allowing those kind of things, that I could face those things, ultimately come to, as you should have as well watching this, the conclusion that it's not something you can change. It's a complete waste of time. It's just going to cost you time, money, and help, right? And there's no decisions you can make to make the scenario any different. So you have to set up your environment to where you can say your blessing or do your thing, and then refocus on what's important over here. Tune your radio station into some good shit. And you would not be able to do that were you just going to ignore the fact that it saddens you altogether. See? If I wanted to, because then you would be, checking your Facebook every day, 15 times a day, right? Looking for the message from that missed person. Is she okay now? Is he okay now? Are they alive or dead? Yada. And it's going to take way more time, and you probably got roughly the same thing going on, and you're going to drive yourself crazy. So instead, you have to put yourself in the context of, one way or another, the only facts that you have, right? You'll hear from them when you hear from them, or from someone nearby them when they're dead or whatever. You're going to find out. And nothing else you're going to do, including worrying, including visual representations of reminders that you're still on a cliffhanger, and nothing else is going to help you. So the ability to not repress your emotions, to talk about those things, whether to yourself, to a camera, to a diary page, is extremely important for you not to make unwise decisions. People are very easily influenced by their emotions. Anger and sadness are very strong emotions, and we tend to cling and share that expression, share that pain in a different version of expression of it in just about everything we do. So hopefully you saw that transparency, and even if you did, I get to feel better that I detoxed a bit. It's going to suck not knowing what happens next with this person. It's going to continue to suck. It's going to continue to suck with all of the other cliffhangers of thoughts I could think about. But since there's absolutely nothing I can do, what we're doing over here is moving into the future. Curbing all that in the past. Limiting exposure to symbology of negativity. Right? Which, if you watched How to Be Happy, you saw that's one of the most important things you can do. Avoiding Facebooks and stuff, where you're just exposed. And what is Facebook? It's like a diary that is wrong, really. At least in a diary you share like some original thoughts, your own thoughts, and some good thoughts too. On Facebook, people share memes. They copy and paste other people's ideas. And it keeps you busy on that shit. Hopefully you learned something. Today's video is just talking about nothing. But anyway, my name is Kevin Chaos. I hope you're well, you bum. having me worry and stuff. And now I'll put no more time and energy into it. I've done as much as I can. I've sent out the messages. I've sent out the comments. And I've worried as much as I can for someone who won't worry enough about themselves to not end up in that scenario, which they are, have been before, are again, and likely will again. So I have to be realistic about that or set myself up. You know what getting your hopes up are, right? Preparing for your hopes let down. You should never get your hopes up. Instead, get your sense up. So that's where we are today. My name is Kevin Chaos.